Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the last session in today's Knowledge Management Tech Showcase. Before I hand it on over to our speaker, I just want to remind you all of the chat and the Q&A boxes. If you have any questions for our speaker, make sure to put them there and we will get to them at the end. And now I will hand it on over to Christian with Market Logic.
So hello everyone, my name is Christian Bobson from Market Logic. Today we'll be looking into how generative AI is changing the future of insights. To dive into the future, let's have a look at today's situation. So what we've seen across the market is that with this digitalized world, you are faced with more and more data, more and more channels, more and more decisions to be made, and more questions to be asked. Now, unfortunately, a lot of corporations don't follow the rising demand, but actually lower down on resources, on budget and staff. So you have to do more with less, and yes, speed it up, please. So in this world, just imagine an insights manager working for a corporation. They're concentrated on doing research and cultivating insights in their company. And every now and then they get this email, hey, I really urgently need some insights. We have to make a big decision. Tell me about whitening toothpaste in China or something. So in this situation and in the current technical you have all followed in the last couple of months with generative AI, the big question is, can AI help? And of course it can in means of generating language, but can it really help for these kind of situations? So we did align with a lot of our clients and we set up projects and we tried them out, all the available generative AI engines. And we found a few things that are very important to know and to notice. And despite the very good language quality of generative AI, there's a few flaws and at most, of course, 3 big issues you might run into that doesn't make available generative AI suitable for this situation. The first flaw is all the generative AI tools available, they access public domain knowledge, which means they know what the internet knew or knows. And this knowledge is very big, but it's not very trustworthy. And especially when you want to write an email to invite people, that's awesome. But if you want to have a base for decisions for your business, you don't want to bet on the internet knowledge. So the knowledge you access is not very trustworthy. The second issue you run into is, even if you find good information, it's extremely hard to verify the sources of this information and therewith share it with others or defend your position. And lastly, and this very prominently, and you've heard this before, the available generative AI engines are set the way that they have a lot of freedom in formulating their answers. They're actually, it's called hallucinating. They're prone to hallucinate. That is falsify on purpose, but actually to give them the creative area, which again is very bad for business decisions because you don't want to base your decisions on hallucinations. Our geniuses to work and ask them, can we still use the great language quality that the AIs have, but get rid of these items? And let me walk you through quickly before I show you the demo, what they've come up with. So we start with trusted knowledge. We start with market insights, with reports and documents. This knowledge has been verified, it has been structured, it's very well. And we ring fence this knowledge and we don't water it down with internet knowledge. And then we apply an AI that is contextualizing this knowledge, that is vectorizing it, that makes it ready to be found, that understands this knowledge, basically. Next, we have added a layer of a semantic search. So that's a search that understands the meaning of the language, but doesn't necessarily need the words. So a car, it understands that, but it doesn't look for the word car. And that has a very nice side effect because it makes it multilingual, because it's understanding language and generating in various language outputs. Then we have added another layer around this, and this is the one we put a lot of effort in, and our engineers are working constantly to improve, and that is to inject deep evidence analysis. So even what the layers done before, now we inject another AI that compares the question, looks into the findings, really makes sure that these findings match the answer and that the quality is set high. And once the information package has run through all these layers, only then do we feel it is okay to send it through the large language model to formulate a nice natural language answer that is then shown to the user. So we have a multi-layer AI process to do so. And before I show you the real thing, let me just summarize. DeepSights is the name of our Wonderbox. It grounds its answers on your trusted insights, on the trusted insights of market research and over 2,500 trusted data suppliers. We always, with every answer, show a clear attribution to reliable sources. So you always know where the evidence is. You have direct access to this evidence. And our settings in DeepSights is that it can't hallucinate, it appreciates context, and it really delivers business answers. Now, DeepSights is available as a standalone version. It's also available as an integrated, if you want, embedded part of our Market Logic platform. If our clients want to have the whole end-to-end market insights management from research management, libraries, templates, etc., you can connect it with any business application, like, for example, Salesforce. It's available in your communication tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack. You can even send questions via email and receive answers via email. And it's, of course, fully responsive and therewith usable on mobile devices. And now I would switch over to the actual demo after this short introduction. So quickly show you how it's looking on the platform. And this would be the standalone version that you see in my front screen. And this is how it looks on the platform. It works exactly the same way. It accesses the same information, but it's just two different output formats, so to say. Now, when you use DeepSights, there's no training necessary for it. There's no way of prompting it. You don't need to know anything. It's just pretend you send a quick message to a colleague. So let's build a little case here. Let's assume we're in a company that sells food, and there's a new trend on the market, of course, that plant-based foods become more and more important and more dominant on the markets. And we have to build a strategy around plant-based foods. But we have not done that in the past, so we have to know a few things. So I might start with a question like, please give me a forecast on how the consumption of plant-based foods is growing. And I just ask that question, and like I would do to a person, DeepSights now runs through the different layers that I quickly touched on earlier. It does need a few seconds because it crunches through thousands of data findings and documents, and then it formulates the answers and displays them. Extremely easy, no training necessary. With every answer, which is in natural language format, I get a clear reference to the document that it was found, the evidence in, and actually the evidences. So basically the pages where it found this evidence. I can click on the page. It directly takes me to the evidence. It's a very easy and direct access to the information. I can rate those answers, which is a tuning mechanism. So it would take, this is an excellent answer, I just submit this. It doesn't show up anywhere. It's not for us internally. It really helps the AI to understand, hey, the process, the mechanism I used to find this evidence was really good. So based on anonymized statistical information, not the content of the question or answer, the AI is trained and fine-tuned. Now, of course, I can share my answer via email, just copy the link, or I can even just copy-paste it as usual here. Now, if I would drill down on my questions, I might have follow-up questions. Let's say how this is in Europe. Again, it runs through the whole layers, and you might notice now in a moment that these answers change. It found different evidences. It found there with different answers. So does show them to you. And then let's say the same thing in Asia. And you will now notice that the answer is reduced to 1. That is because it found less evidence, and can only supply you with one answer. Let's say we want to sell plant-based foods on Mars, as we might travel there every now and then. And of course, there's no research on plant-based foods on Mars, and therewith it can't give you an answer. And this is something I would really like to stretch. Knowing what you don't know is as valuable as actually getting an answer, because now you know we have to do some research, not on Mars, but on other topics. So this works, again, as a standalone version, integrated in the platform and integrated in other tools, like, for example, Teams. And let's say I've been in a different meeting. I was away from my desk. My colleagues started a group channel, group conversation here, and they are discussing plant-based foods in the market, because the government just recently made an update or gave a new direction. So this topic becomes more and more prominent. And now I want to contribute to this. And maybe I'm away. I have my mobile phone with me, and let me quickly go into Teams. And then I would, for example, try to contribute to here. And I want to give them the answer. So I said at DeepSights, do consumers expect to pay less for plant-based foods in Germany? So I sent this in through my mobile phone, and I think I cocked it up myself because I pressed the button for the microphone too early. Okay, give me another try. Do consumers expect to pay less for plant-based foods in Germany? Okay, I can see it showing up, but it doesn't rate. Maybe it's the sharing. I don't know. Let me try it here. Now it's reacting. Really sorry about that. It's not. There. So it ran through in the background. It ran through the same process that I showed you, and now I get all the answers. So it's a delay due to the network connection. It ran through the same levels. It delivered the same answers. It just used another output channel instead of the platform or the standalone version on my mobile phone. It puts it right into the Teams conversation. So even if I'm not part of the conversation using any access to Teams, I can get my colleagues the information they need within minutes if my network connection would be a bit more stable. And so hours of waiting, days of waiting, shortened down to just a few seconds. That's as a quick demo, and let's look at what impact does this generate? Is it just a little fancy tool to use? And we are very happy that we have built this, we've tested it, we ran it out in beta version, and we have some very amazing clients that have it installed, very big corporations that work globally, and they were themselves very interested in what DeepSights can do for them. So they created an own test, and we had no influence into that. There was no way we could make it nice for us. So they did the test themselves, and I'm happy to share some numbers on those. They ran tests, have DeepSights compete against other artificial intelligences, and have DeepSights compete against human intelligence. So in comparison to ChatGPT or Bing, DeepSights has produced the winning answers 14 percentage points more often than even the internet knowledge of ChatGPT and Bing. And when they looked into the answers and they looked into the quality of information contained in this answer, we were 5 times better in quality than the answers generated by the other AI engines. Now, they took the same set of questions, same set of data, and so on, and put it to insights managers and normal business managers, had them find the information, formulate the questions, and the average manager had a success rate of a direct success. So here's my answer. Yes, that's exactly the answer to this question. Of about 60%. An insights manager who's really familiar with the report had it at 89%, so equal to our DeepSights tool, who always delivered on a 89% direct success rate. So 9 out of 10 questions were answered directly, bullseye. This is exactly the information we need. Now, the manager needed about 17 minutes to find the answer, to find the evidence, and send it over. DeepSights needs less than 1 minute. So it's 17 times faster. It has the same quality as market insights experts, and it's 5 times better than other AI engines that use public domain knowledge. Now, that's nice, but what is the real intention that we have? The real intention is for your insights teams, unleash your potential. Don't waste time in carrying information packages from A to B to respond on emails and questions that always hold you up from the real important work. Because the real important work of an insights management team is fill up knowledge gaps, define methodologies, connect with the right sources and partners, and cultivate knowledge inside their company. Now, on the other hand, because it's so easy to access and so quick to operate and implement, you will drive an insights culture in your company by enabling the average manager with no training, with no needed understanding of market research and reports, to just enable them to get the right answers to their questions. So I do think it is fair that we supercharge businesses by insights. And if you like, just give it a try yourself, be in touch with us, and I, from my side, thank you very much for your attention.
And great, thank you. Thank you so much for the great demo. We do have some time for some questions. I do have a few to ask you, but for those of you who haven't gotten a chance to ask your questions yet, make sure to drop them in the chat or the Q&A box, and we'll be sure to ask them. So to start off, why does DeepSights provide more than one answer?
Oh, yeah, that's good. You noticed that there's it was shown up to 3 answers, and that for a very good reason. Technically, it would actually be quite easy to put them condensed into one answer, but just think about a conversation between 2 humans when you ask a question. In a lot of cases, doesn't the answer start with, well, it depends? So, and that's exactly what's happening. DeepSights looks into the evidence, into what it can find, and it sometimes finds contradiction, or it finds slightly varying answers, and it does. And we don't want to jump that. We want to offer the managers to understand that there's different perspectives to things, so they get multiple answers to one question, but not more than 3. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Can it query survey data sets?
Yes, it can, through a little side step that we need to prepare the survey data. Of course, it doesn't. Generative AI doesn't really work with tables, and not yet. Of course, with every iteration that those AIs get, it'll be better. Currently, we do a little side detour to get this data in, but then yes, it can process it, and it will in the future. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Someone said, perhaps I missed it. Tech issues here. Totally understandable. Happens to the best of us. Can it provide a summary?
No, it doesn't summarize things. It really understands the question, and it does understand the evidence, and it responds to the question. We have summarizing tools on the platform that those are great if you want to use a search and you want a summary of a search and so on. The next iteration of DeepSights will have a specific management summary, which is an extended recommendation. So, but that is for the next demo, maybe.
Great. Does DeepSights learn?
Yes, it does learn, and as I mentioned earlier, it does not use your protected data. It learns on statistical data. We made very sure that we don't run into any security and privacy issues there. The way the rating works and also the usage of the answers works is that it understands that certain mechanisms it uses, like vectors and so, work better than others, and therewith improves on this. And in parallel, our engineers work on fine-tuning it. So we purposefully train it in our little sandbox at home and then give it as an update out to the world. Yeah.
Awesome. And then are the answers reproducible?
Yes. So all the answers that are asked in each tenant, they're stored with the tenant. They can re-access all the answers and this is more for evidence tracking, so that they know what was the answer 3 months ago or 6 months ago, and then they can re-access that. Nonetheless, with every new report being loaded, with every new insights that you add to the system, the answer actually might change. So it will not give you the same answer over time because it actually learns from new insights that it receives.
That's really great. Those are all the questions that we have for you today, but thank you so much for your time and for giving a great demo. Thank you to all of our attendees for being here. And if you have any other questions or you're interested, make sure to reach out to the Market Logic Group team. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.